Dear friend, today in this video lecture, we will learn about a new field in literary criticism, that is techno-criticism. Dear friend, the lecture is full of information about the basic concepts, different literary terms, critics and their views and opinions of this techno-critical theory. So I request you not to skip any part of the video and watch it till the end so that you can understand it very well. And please like, share, subscribe my channel, share my videos, and please comment too on the video too. So dear friend, the objective of our lecture is to understand what exactly techno-criticism is, the origin of the techno-criticism, and the impact of it on the industrial and the digital technologies on criticism and the literature as well. Who are the major techno-critics? What does techno-critics do? The basic assumptions and concepts of techno-criticism. And then we will try to widen the scope of our knowledge by inquiring into the basic tenets of the techno-criticism. We will also see the pessimistic and the optimistic side of the criticism. Okay, dear friend, so science and technology have continued to play a central role in the development of the civilization. Through their advancement, human beings have been able to produce electricity, the internet, and the map of the human DNA. Then and there is an unending list of the things that often seem to be like a miracle. So techno-criticism is a branch of the critical theory devoted to the study of technological changes. Techno-criticism, or the criticism of technology, is the analysis of the adverse impact of industrial digital technologies. Technology plays a key role in the advancement of the human progress. Technology is indispensable part of our life. Technology is present everywhere in the social progress. Undoubtedly, technology generates problems or issues to which the same technology can be used to provide or find it as a solution. In the present generation, it is challenging to find out someone who is not utilizing the technology and its byproducts in his or her life. So technology and society or culture seems to be interrelated and interdependent and having influenced on each other. So the juxtaposition of the society and the culture with the same technology lingering since the origin of the mankind continues using technologies updates or newly invented. So technological frameworks are regularly depicted as almost phenomenal answers for the different issues. Through the technological advancements, individuals have had progressive and valuable methods for drawing in with the world, and it expands the limit with the respect to control. So technology can enable us to understand our needs, our requirements, so that the ambitions towards the human advancement, acknowledge themselves inside the technocratic and anti-human world. On the other hand, the philosophical discussions have emerged over the technology's utilizations with differences about whether the technology improves the human conditions or deteriorates it. Neoliberalism, anarchic primitivism, comparative reactionary developments, criticize the extensiveness of technology, conducting it that intending that it hurts the nature and distances the individualism. Dear friend, everything is technology. Perhaps you may know the movie that is the Three Idiot. We are surrounded by the technology. Technology covers pretty much part of our life, causing it completely basic. That is to build up a powerful jargon or the system for understanding the relationship to it. The most straightforward type of the technology is the advancement and the utilization of the fundamental devices. The ancient disclosure of how to control the fire and the later on the Neolithic revolution expanded the accessible wellspring of nourishment, and the creation of the will helped the people to go in order to manage their environmental conditions. As a matter of fact, technology is general classification for investigation. Technology is utilized as a shorthand for the several things such as the consumer gadgets, advanced or digital platforms, the groups of the organizations and the ventures situated in a different IT sectors and bigger ideas like the artificial intelligence. And the word techniques is used by Lewis Mumford, philosopher and the sociologist of technology, for alluding to the interaction of the social milieu and the technological advancement, such as the desire, tendencies, thoughts, objectives, and the industrial procedures of a general public. Let us try to find out some relation in criticism and the techno-criticism. Criticism is a critical study of some object or a theme which seems as an interpretation, appraisal, and or investigation, and making a decision about the benefit, negative opinions, and the methodical survey. Critical theory is a philosophical appraisal and analysis of society and the culture. It applies information from the sociologies and the humanities to uncover the challenges that controls the structures. Critical theory has starting point in sociology and furthermore more in the literary criticism. So techno-criticism is a branch of a critical theory that is devoted particularly to the study of technological changes. Techno-criticism, or the criticism of the technology, is the analysis of the adverse impact or the impact of industrial and the digital technologies on culture, on humanity and literature as well. So it is debatable that technology turns into a way of command, control and exploitation, or more commonly something that menace to the existence of the mankind in all progress social structures. So techno-criticism analyzes individual social practices in which the changing down to the earth and the social importance. So it reports, dissects both private and the open issues, and regularly commits the exceptional thoughtfulness regarding to the relations among the various uses and aspects. Dear friend, change is the important or prominent feature of our life. Change can be viewed as utilizing various dimensions, and it moved towards the utilizing a wide range of the ideas and the models. These days, organizations, depending on the excluding larger sectors like scales like information and the technology system, so as to go upgrade their organization's performance. This process might be called as a techno change. The term techno change was first brought about by Marcus in techno change management using IT to drive the organizational change. Since then, the term techno change has been broadly applied to the technological and the project management field alongside the different organizational environment. According to Harrison and Boonstra, the expression techno change refers to the organizational changes for the technological drives and combines a wide assortment of highlights that are associated with and have impacts for the changes contained by the organizations. Dear friend, now let us try to figure out who are the major techno-critics. Major critics engaged in the technological scholarships and the theory include Donna Harvey, then Bruno Latour, who work in the closely related field of the science studies. Then Anne Catherine Halway, who works in the field of literature and the science. Then Marshall McLuhan, Friedrich Kittler, Susan Squiller, Richard Doyle. Then we have the Han Andril, Walter Benjamin, Martin Heger, and Michel Foucault. Of course, the development of the computer and the technology and the new versions of the text that are the electronic text to be read on the screen rather than in the form of the print has had a drastic impact on the tradition of the literary studies. The influence of the technology has always been visible in the science fiction, particularly. The age of the hypertext, then simulation, computer aided designs, and the virtual reality requires a whole new theory of reading itself. So, techno-criticism is a result of this development and in recognition to the arrival of the new age, that is the the postmodern age or the virtual age that in which we are living. So, the modern fiction studies brought out a special issues about these subjects, and the work of the Catherine Havels, especially in the Chaos Bound, and the Michael Joyce has been located at the interference of the cyber studies and the culture and the literary studies. So, dear friend, there are some basic assumptions and the basic concepts of techno-criticism. Let us try to find out what are they, and let us try to organize it. Okay, so the essential features and the assumptions are number one, the categories and the notions like the text, narratives, and the linearity need to be rethought. Technocritics thought or they asserts that the all notions regarding to the categories, notions like text, narratives, everything should be rethought, and text is no longer a linear narrative with a logical beginning, middle, and the end, but various parts of the text may be transferred, sequenced, rearranged, and added or subtracted, or even thus the commentaries and the other text should be added and subtracted from it, and a text looks and is read on the screen. Now, so at the click of the mouse, the reader may be switch his reading material to the reference material like encyclopedia and compose or marks his or her comment at the same time. Then the second important assumptions of techno-criticism is the reader is now a network. Reader is not called as a reader, but he is now in a work of a network, and or a city of the text. What the Michael Joyce said, the reader is returned to the same text or same lexicon over again and again in a branching narrative, and the reader scans the particular passage or the word or the image. Thus, what the text is should give you, or what the text means is already in the reader's mind, and when he or she clicks on the keyboard or the mouse. So, reading and the rereading of the section of the text is a reconfiguration of the text itself. As a result, the body of the book is now problematic concepts, and a hypertext, as defined by Bolter in a writing space, is a network of the text which allows the readers to choose any path, and all paths are equally valid. So the techno-criticism has changing even the concept of the reader and the text. Then the third important point is the change that occurs in the narrative is that of the form of the closed or the linear or univocal authoritative aesthetics, which renders the reader's passive to one which is multivocal, open, even the non-hierarchical and non-linear, and which is based on the active encounter between the reader and the text. So this new aesthetics is what the Jayashree Odin termed net or the hypertext aesthetics. So reader can create his or her own narrative in the space of the virtual reality. So this is again an important point or important assumptions of the techno-criticism. The interactive fictions and the drama are the examples of this. So new path of solutions are offered by the readers or the viewers who is now player, and this is intensively the visual activity where the writers organizes a shape to the image but which the reader reshapes on the screens. So internet chat room, even the interactive dialogue suggests a whole new mode of reading. Even you may have seen the how in the movie that Ravan, how the everything is getting changed with and it is in the hand of the user. So the solidarity nature of the reading and the writing is no more available to us, and hence the definition of the reading space requires again the redefinition. So simulation and the virtuality, the next point is that the simulation and the virtuality is not the obligation of the object of the representation. Rather, simulation brings object into being with the active participation of the reader, and a new topography develops. This is the full gap and in between space which provides the potential for the reader's articulations and the interpretations. So here we can see the mixture of the reader response theories and the terms, different terms, even some of the deconstructions and the post-colonial and the post-structural concepts intermingled in the new techno-criticism. So hypertext is again creates a virtual space, as the Michael Joyce suggests. There are the two types of these spaces, and the one is the exploratory, where the reader creates his or her own space or path through the body of the knowledge. On the web, a reader marks and visits visits or unvisits the sites by changing and highlighting the color of the material as a clue, and the destination of the codes for the links are also displayed. The second space is the constructive hypertext, where the writer collects and shapes and acts upon the informations and creates visual maps for the structures that anticipates what are becoming. That is, they write a structure of something that does not yet exist. So a hypertext do not aim at reaching at a destination. The art of the tracing and navigating is itself the object. So the different units are in a random sequence and fragmented and discontinuous. So the text and the reader therefore exist in the in between zone and of a transformation and the navigations. So computer codes, programs, language are involved in the presentations on the screens. So a global command regarding to the signifier and the signified is entirely arbitrary and temporal. So in techno-criticism, we find the mixture and the uses of the all terms and the concepts that that studied earlier in different schools and in different critical theories. So these are some basic assumptions of the literary theory. Now, dear friend, let us try to understand the term technological determinism. What is the technological determinism? The term technological determinism was coined by the Thorsten Veblen, and his theory involved or revolves around the prepositions that technology in any given society defines its nature. Technology is viewed as a driving force of a culture in a society, and it determines its course of history. So we have the Karl Marx, and Karl Marx believed that the technological progress leads to the newer ways of the productions in society, and this ultimately influenced the cultural, political, and the economic aspects of the society, thereby inevitably changing itself. He explained his own statement as giving the example of how the feudal society that used the hand mill slowly changed into an industrial capitalist society with the introduction of the steam mills. So many critics have discussed the term, but the prominent among them were the Marshall McLuhan, the Canadian philosophers, and the Neil Postman, the American critic. Dear friend, the technological determinism means that technology determines the outcome. For example, if somebody says the internet gives us freedom and democracy, it means that internet is inherently good and beneficial for the society. Here, technology is determining the outcome of the society and the social governance. Or if somebody says internet is dictating us and leading us into problem, here also we find the same example of the technological determinism. Here the technology determines the outcome of the society which is bad. So for example, the George Orwell's novel, that is the 1984, gives us the picture of the informational dictatorship. So how can a technology good or bad at the same time? As a matter of fact, it is neither good nor bad nor neutral too. Therefore, you might have been stunned because it is the most philosophical statement. So therefore, social constructivists argued for the social construction of the technology. It means that technology has different outcomes. For example, the technology is just like a tool. For example, the hammer or the gun. Okay, so gun can be used either to kill a man or to save ourselves. So if somebody use the gun to kill the people, then is it a fault of a gun or the user? Yes, it is the fault of the user. So gun is just a tool and its use depends on the user. So we shape the tool and then our tool shapes us. So technological determinism manifests itself at various levels. Initially, it starts with the introduction of the newer technologies. It introduces the various changes, and at the same time changes can be also lead to the loss of the existing knowledge as well. For example, the introduction of the new agricultural tool and the method has seen as a gradual loss of the knowledge of the traditional means of the farming. Therefore, technology is also influencing the levels of the knowledge in society. So dear friend, there are some optimistic and the pessimistic perspective on technology. The technological progress has permitted numerous individuals to accomplish lifestyles of the material comfort. In contrary, technology creates global issues such as climate change and the environmental problems. So it is evident that technology generates problems or issues to which the same technology can be used to provide or to find out the solutions. So technology may be discussed in optimistic note or a pessimistic perspective. So we here again we find the two types of techno-criticism. Again, the techno-optimism. Okay, I called it techno-optimism. Is a conviction that technology can be used to be improved, and it can be improved, constantly improved, and can improve the lives of the individuals. So improving the whole world at the same time as well. So techno-optimists think that technology has reliably enhanced the lives of the individuals to improve the things. On the other hand, we have the techno-pessimist. The techno-pessimist accepts that technology has made many issues for mankind, and techno-pessimism is the outcome of the human constant hesitation towards the change. So, dear friend, technology is essential part of the human conditions, and the innovations is profoundly associated with the technological advancement. Technology is connected to many marvels of universal relations, including stripes, financial aspects, and the cultures. Technology exists to improve the conditions, the things, and the technology is to be component of the modernizations alongside the advancement in the science and improves cultures over times. The effect of technologies are not anonymously good, bad, or even neutral. More inventions in cyber cultures will see corresponding development in techno-criticism. The relationship of the potentials of the cyberspace to subjectivity, post-colonialism, race, gender issues are now being tackled. With no doubt, there is no doubt that this techno-criticism is one of the most exciting areas of the critical theory today. So, dear friend, this is what my thoughts about the techno-criticism. Hope you understand it and you like it. Dear friend, please like, share, subscribe my channel and comment on my videos. Please share my videos. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Thanks a lot.